Hi, I'm Michael and welcome to part 2 in this series of short video tutorials looking at setting up GameMaker Studio to achieve Android device exports on your home PC. Okay, so in video number 1 we were looking at setting up all the software ready to do all this. So if you haven't done that yet, I recommend going back to video number 1 to make sure that's all finished. In this video, we're actually going to look at making sure GameMaker Studio is all set up and ready to go, and we're also going to make sure your Android device is in developer mode to also do this as well. So without further ado, let's make a start. Okay, so for this part we need to now set up your Android device actually ready to be in developer mode, so we can, when we actually do plug this into GameMaker Studio and into your PC, obviously then we'll be able to actually access the device, and so we can actually port our games over onto your Android mobile device. So it's really straightforward, it's very, very simple. All we've got to do is you just need to go to the settings of your Android device. The first thing, if you've never ever done this before with your device, so this is the first time, say, you've ever set this up, in settings, if you scroll right down to the bottom and go to About Device, and then what we're actually going to do is scroll right down to the bottom and you're looking for the build number of the actual Android device. What you would do here is where it says the build number is you need to actually tap this 7 times. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mine has already been set up, and so basically at this stage, if this is the first time you were running it, it would come up saying you were about to, would you like to set this up as developer mode? And you'd say yes, let's do that. Mine has already had this done, so this is why it didn't come up saying that. It was telling me while I was tapping that 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. It's telling me you're already this device has already been set into developer mode and has been enabled. You'll know it's been enabled because down here then, as you can see on the menu for settings, just above About Device, it says Developer Options. Okay, once you have that and you have enabled your device to be in developer mode, I'm just going to turn this on for a moment, click OK here. What you'll find is the only setting you have got to apply is Enable USB debugging. So I'm just going to tick that. It will give me a little warning saying, are you intending to do this? Click OK. That is it. You have now enabled your Android device to be ready for developer mode. So that's it for the Samsung. What I will do as well, just also, is just show you on another device. So here we are. The last one was the Samsung. This is the a Pt.2. So I'm just going to go over here. Going to go into the settings. If I scroll down, so exactly the same for this one here. If I go to About Tablet, you would see here is a build number. We would tap this 7 times. It's already telling me no need, you're already a developer. And as you can see, there is exactly the same as what we saw in the Samsung. Developer options are available there. I'm just going to turn my developer options on. Yes, okay. And as you can see, exactly the same message we're looking for, USB debugging. I was going to tick that, and it gives me the same setting warning there, and I was ticking that. So as you can see, for 2 different devices there, for the Samsung and for the Pt.2 tablet, it's the same setup. You go to Settings, go to About Your Tablet. You're looking for the build number. You're going to tap it 7 times if this is the first time you've ever done this. 7 times, give you a warning. Would you like to enter developer mode? Yes. Once you've done that, you'll see developer options actually in the listing of the menu here in the settings. And all you need to do is actually tick USB debugging, and that's it. We are done with our devices. So in this part of the video, what we're going to be looking at is setting up GameMaker Studio ready to start running with our Android device. In this video specifically, we're going to be doing the settings for if we are running our Android device connected straight to our PC using a USB lead, rather than the option of setting up to do exports over Wi-Fi. So what we're going to need to do to start with is we're going to start GameMaker Studio. What we need to let GameMaker Studio know is where our native development kit is. At the same time, we need to let it know where the Android development kit information is as well. So all the tools are available. So we're starting GameMaker Studio from our desktop or from your Windows Start menu. I'm going to go to just starting a new project. Once this has been filled in, GameMaker will remember your settings and we are actually done. Okay, so here we are in GameMaker Studio. I'm going to head over to, from the File menu at the top here, I'm going to go to Preferences, which will pop open this nice little window here. Okay, so the first thing we're actually going to check out is going to the Web Server tab on there. By default, GameMaker has set up in the Web Server port two areas that it will allow us to do the port directly from. So it's already done this for us by default. There's no real need to change these numbers unless you know specifically that you are already using these port numbers. If you haven't really done anything like that, then you should be fine to go. The one area we do need to look at setting up is here, the IP allowed list. What we need to pop in here is your IP address for your PC. If you're not too sure how to do this, this is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to literally press Windows and R. We're going to type in command, press OK. What we need to do at this stage is we need to find out what IP address are you actually using. So at this stage here, just type in ipconfig. ipconfig. Press enter, and from there you are looking for your IPv4 address. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, the IPv4 address. Okay, and once you've got that number, we can place that in. So for example, 192.168.10/24. Okay, obviously I'm just using example IP addresses here. Obviously you will go and find out your IP address for your own one there. So now I've done that, I can close down the command tool there, and that's it for that stage. Okay, let's now move on to the next tab. The one we want to go to next is Android tab. Okay, I'm going to not cover the key store part to start with. I'm going to click down here on the left hand side where it says SDK. And we've got two sections at the top here called Android SDK location and Android NDK location. And you should already have the Java JDK location should already be filled in. GameMaker should have known that. If not, you might need to just go find it, and it would have been installed in your program files of your computer in the 86 window, and look for Java. Whichever number it is that we installed, which we did the 1.7 version, but you should be fine, that should already be there. Let's start with the top. We've got the Android SDK location. If you remember from our first video, we said that we would install it on the C drive and keep it a really short address location. So I'm going to click on the end here, and I'm looking for my Android SDK folder. So if I go to my C drive there, you can quite clearly see there is my Android SDK folder. I'm going to click OK. And let's move down to Android NDK location. And once again, we installed it to our C drive. And there is the Android NDK folder, and click OK. Okay, what I want to do at this stage then is I want to make sure everything's fine. As you can see here, check Android SDK, click. Oh, the key file store does not exist. We'll come back to that in a moment. This will all be fine, so don't worry about that. I'm going to check my Android NDK, and it says yes, that's okay. Okay, let's go back and let's sort out the key store part, which will address this issue here for us. Okay, I'm now going to click on the key store tab. Okay, what is a key store? A key store is very important. This is basically when all of your games get made and you export them at the final stage, your game will be signed with this information. This is absolutely crucial because you need to make sure this information that gets embedded into your game. If in the future, after say you've built a game and you've uploaded it to Google Play or wherever for your Android development, if you did an update of that game at a later time, but you have signed your app with a different information in this key store, it's going to see it as two different developments, two different companies have done it, or someone completely different, and it's just not going to accept it. So this key store, this private key store, is absolutely crucial. Okay, let's take a look at what we need to fill in here. The most important part is actually down here on the left-hand side, okay? The right-hand side is optional. So let's take a look at the private key store information and what do we need to put in here. Now, we can use letters, we can use numbers and spaces, but no special characters at all in this, okay? So none of these fields use special characters, letters, numbers and spaces are fine. So the file name. So the file name, it's recommended by GameMaker, and let's go with what they say and what they suggest. I think that's the best angle to go with. That this file name is not your name or your company. Okay, it's something quite specific that you're going to use that is not going to be recognizable, so people could kind of like kind of work out what it is. It's a private key store that's been signed with your apps. So I'm for this example here, I'm going to break the rules a little bit, and I am going to use my name. So for starters, I'm just going to call this file name Michael Dev, for example. Okay, as you can see, I'm using letters. I haven't used numbers, but you could, and you could use spaces, but no special characters. Okay, so I'm just going to use that in there. Password. Okay, let's move on to the password. It has to be at least 6 characters long, so I'm going to do the typical password. Let's do that for the example. The alias, it's the name of the user, and it can differ from above. Do you know what? I'm just going to do something backwards. I'm just going to do dev_Michael on that one. And the password, very crucial here, people. It needs to be the same password as above, as GameMaker quite clearly states on their website. This is a common issue that can go wrong, so do make sure the 2 password fields, this first one here and the second one, the password is the same. So I was going to type in password for that one. Okay, I'm just going to do reveal password contents. There you are, you can see. So I've done file name. It's recommended by GameMaker, not your name, not your company name. As you can see, I'm just kind of chucking something in for the moment. So I've done Michael_Dev. Password, alias, I've just done a reverse situation of what the file name was. I'm sure you guys will come up with something a lot better. And password, this password must be the same as this password here. Okay, we're almost there. The other side of here, this is optional information, so it's up to you. Common name, if you wanted to do this, it's recommended. Why not? The common name, this would be your name, so I'm just going to chuck in my name there. The organisational unit, well, hey, let's call this, I don't know, development unit, for example. So I'll put develop. There you can have your company. So we can have My Great Games. Location, wherever you're from, so there we are. Let's put that in. Oh, Cambridge. Let's put that there, Cambridge, and then obviously where are you coming from? Okay, at this stage here, we are going to do, let's generate the key, because this is the first time you've ever done it. Okay, so I'm going to generate. It can take a moment to do. And it looks like we're all done there. So it has generated this very unique information here for us, that this gets embedded into our game. It makes it unique. So if you do want to do updates in the future of games, which a lot of the time you will do, you're learning new stuff and you want to add that into previous games, then obviously you would then be able to go back. It is recommended that you back up this file, and obviously at the top here you can see where that file is being stored on your PC. So go there, find the file that you've made and back that up. Do not lose it. Okay, next time you come into GameMaker and you're going to make a new game, and if you come over to this section here and you go to double check that your files are all in place and check the Android SDK and the NDK are there, and just make sure nothing's gone wrong, whatever you do on this key store page, do not generate a new one. Okay, it's very, very important. You could do show key hash just to make sure, yes, that's fine, it's all there. Please just do it the once. Okay, so very important. Okay, so that's done, and we've got that installed there. That's all fine and saved for us. Now if I go back to my SDK tab, and I'm going to do check Android SDK, we're all fine. There we go. So SDK status, SDK and JDK and key store okay, and we'd already done our check Android NDK status, and that's all fine there as well. Okay, so the next stage is we need to ensure that we've installed for your Android device an ADB driver. The ADB driver is the Android Debug Bridge driver. This is a very important stage that we actually need to have on your computer. Without this, you won't be able to access the Android platform tools and actually get in there to actually start testing your apps through compiling, so on and so forth. So what we're going to do to start with, I'm going to go to a website called teamandroid.com, and I'll show you why in a moment. That's the wrong address. Let's try that again. teamandroid.com. There we are. What I'm going to do across the top here on the menu, it says USB drivers. I'm going to go to there, and as I scroll down, there is already a nice list of multiple different companies with the actual drivers you need for your actual Android device. Now, the reason for this, as it quite clearly says up here, is you can download the USB drivers for Windows and for Mac here. Mostly you could get them from the official websites, but there is this case where some manufacturers don't provide them. So the reason I'm giving you this link here is because you can go there and you will see pretty much most product manufacturers are there with their drivers. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to start, because we're going to be showing you first with this Samsung Galaxy. I'm going to download the actual USB ADB drivers for that one myself. We'll just wait for that to download. There we go. Just go through over to here. I'm going to download this driver. Okay, so here we are. Let's click download. I'm going to save this to my desktop. We'll give it a moment for that. There we go, that's all finished. I can close it down, and I'm going to close down my window there. And here we are, I've got my install there. So I'm going to run the Samsung USB mobile driver here. Let's get that going. Go through there. It doesn't matter where I install it, I'm just going to install it into my program files. There we go, and that's finished. Okay, I can get rid of this exe file on my desktop now. Let's get rid of that. That's all done. So now, with those ADB drivers installed onto your PC, and we've already set the Samsung Android device into developer mode, as you saw a moment ago, if I now plug in my Samsung device, as you can see here, it's installing the device driver software, and it will let me know as we go through the updates here. And if we give it a moment, we should all be done there. So I'm going to double check on this. I can go to my control panel for starters. There's one way of checking here. And go to my hardware, go to my device manager. And when I'm over here, if I just go over, as you can see very clearly here, the Samsung Android phone with Android composite ADB interface as well. That's all nicely set up. You would have found previously that that would not have been working properly without us installing the ADB drivers for this actual device. So with that, I know that that's done. Okay, there is another way also of us checking this. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go to my documents. I'm going to go to my C drive, and I'm heading to where I installed the Android SDKs. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to the platform tools. And while I'm there, I'm going to, just down in the space over here, I'm going to do Shift, right click, open command window. And what I'm going to do at this stage here is I'm just going to type in ADB driver. And there we go, that's kind of letting me know, that's fine. If your ADB drivers weren't installed, you wouldn't get this nice list actually giving you the rundown to say, yes, they are actually Android Debug Bridge version. It's letting me know that is all in there, and that is all fine. Okay. Now, what I want to quickly do is just recap a little bit as well, because I was showing you also the Pippo. If I just head back once again to the Team Android website, let's have a look back there. Let's go back. Let's give that a second. Going back to the USB drivers. If I scroll down, as you may find, that you may come across that your actual manufacturer is not on here. You may find yours isn't there. So, for example, that's why obviously I was also showing you the Pippo device as well. It's not there. Okay, so what can I do about this instead? Well, there is another way of doing this. I'm actually going to go to another website called AndroidMTK.com. Let's head to that. Here we go. On AndroidMTK.com, the alternative as well is if you can't find your manufacturer's make, is actually look for a universal ADB driver. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down just because I know exactly what I'm looking for on this page here. There is many different kinds of ones that you can use. Just going to show you one, for example, for me, one that I've tried out. Sometimes you've got to try these things to see how they work and see if they make sense, and actually do come across being okay for your device. Sorry, I'm on the wrong thing here. Let me go to driver. Sorry, that's what I wanted to do instead. I'm going to scroll down. I know that for me, one that I've tried out with the Pt.2 device, on this first page here, there is the download Universal ADB driver. And basically very simple, nice and straightforward. Connect your Android device to a computer, download the Universal ADB driver onto your computer. So let's have a go at doing that. These are really straightforward, nice things to actually do. Like I say, if you haven't got one exactly for your manufacturer, this is one way of doing it. So I'm just going to let this download and I'll show you this one. There we are, close that down. I'm going to come out of this window here. As you can see here, I've got the ADB driver for this one instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in there, and nicely, as you can see here, obviously you can follow the instructions on it. It's really straightforward, this universal one here. I'm just going to take that out of the zip folder. I'm going to plug in the Pt.2. Let's get that plugged in. I'm just going to, yes, I want that on my PC. There we are. And I'm just literally going to double click the Universal ADB driver. Yes, I want to run that. And I've already used this one already, but yours would come up here with a nice little red cross to say there isn't one installed. All you got to do is just click install. There we are. It's done. Exit. Fine. We're all finished there. So I can delete this one here. Yes, send that to the bin. And why not? Let's keep that actual that program there in case you've got any other tablets, Android tablets you come across, or phones that you can't find the ADB driver for. You could use this nice little program to link it up and get that all connected as well. So with that, we are finished there. We've installed the ADB drivers for different platforms. I've shown you two ways. One for a manufacturer where you can actually find the ADB drivers for it, and I've also shown you another way, which is if you can't find the ADB drivers for your manufactured make of mobile platform, you could use a universal driver and try those different ways out. And we've also looked at how to set up your Android device ready into developer mode and what you need to try. With that, we are finished with this video. Thank you very much. Well, that's it for part 2. In part 3, the final installment, we shall look at the final settings for GameMaker Studio and actually doing a final compile and run on your Android device. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.